On this episode, remembering the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay, stopping by to chat with us now. We have the world-class Ozzy Osbourne Tribute Ozzmosis with Ricky Woods and Jimmy T. How's it going, guys?
Hey,
Well, I wish it was I wish it was a better circumstance for us to speak today, Robert. I know we're talking about Ozzy, and his passing, so it's a sad day for the world, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the rock world is like just shaken to its core in the last couple of days with this news the other day, right? I mean,
Yeah,
we all thought it was going to happen eventually. I didn't think we were going to see it like within 2 weeks of his final show.
of
You know
course.
what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about it. I mean, everybody's been talking about it. I mean, my whole social media is blowing up with all of the tributes and the people reaching out to Jimmy and me and the guys in the band and offering us condolences because this is what we do. We bring Ozzy's music and Black Sabbath's music to the world, and we love this music so much. All the guys in the band. I mean, that's why we do this, and it's a truly devastating time for us to have to even talk about this kind of stuff. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And Jimmy and I were just talking about this. I mean, even if we didn't know him personally, it was just like we all felt a connection to him. I think as fans or as musicians or whoever, just through his music, right, Jimmy? It was just like that was the connection and the feel that Ozzy gave to his fans, right? It felt personal.
you felt it. You felt like you knew him. You felt like he's a great guy, fun-loving guy, fun guy to be around, a family guy. He was all of, he was all of everything. I mean, I felt like we knew him. I mean, I felt like he was like family, and even though I didn't know him on a personal level, it hurt like it was family.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean that's the message that he gave us all. When it comes to the way he was, I mean, he lived for his fans. I mean, every time you'd hear him talk about, his life in music, it was always about the fans, always about being live on stage. Every time he tried to come back from injuries that he had, and when he broke his neck, and obviously the Parkinson's that he'd been dealing with for the last 4 or 5 years of his life. He fought like crazy to live, and he, one of those main driving forces behind that was so he could be on stage with us all again. And thankfully he was able to do that for himself and obviously for his hundreds of millions of fans around the world.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely fulfilled that promise, right? He told everyone he would be back there one more time doing it, and I think this is probably the biggest heavy metal rock concerts. The money it raised is amazing, $190 million for Parkinson's and
Incredible.
the
Yeah.
Children's Hospital. I don't think you can ever gonna see anything like that again.
No,
Just amazing. The acts there, the standouts for me, obviously, probably during the show, Steven Tyler, standout, huge. Youngblood, huge
Yeah,
standout as
that
well
that
on there. I was
that
blown
kid's got a
away.
bright future, man. I mean, what an incredible rendition he did of Changes.
Yeah, yeah, and it's skyrocketing in the charts. I was just reading in the UK now, it's like number one, you
Good.
know. So
I'm glad. I mean, listen, every moment that someone pays homage to Black Sabbath and Ozzy, it gets the younger people more into the music. It's in the mainstream again for people that haven't been exposed to it as young people are. Hey, oh, this young blood guy, what's he singing? Let's go listen to some Black Sabbath. Oh, wow, I never heard this music before. And that's how the next generations start listening to this great music that we grew up with.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
how it begins.
Yeah, I see a lot of people they're talking about their memories of that. Jimmy, do you remember when you first got exposed and you first heard Sabbath, or you first were like, what is this coming out now?
I do. We were in, I guess either high school or junior high. Maybe it's supposed to be junior high school. And we were listening. We used to get together on Friday nights. My friend, I used to play in a band back then, and the guys in the band got together, and we used to play these, play records at that time. There wasn't even CDs.
Right. Everybody played records. Exactly.
And it was
Two
my friend
tracks.
had the Black Sabbath, and we had to wear that album out. It was like every Friday night. That was the first thing we played, and after that, we went on to Pink Floyd or whatever else we did. But it was, I do remember sitting in my friend Paul's, actually he had the garage was his bedroom. So he had the whole garage bedroom type thing going. And we used to sit there and just have a couple of drinks and, listen to the music. And we got into it back then. And it was amazing. And then it just progressed from there. I was like, as the other albums came out, more stuff, we got into it more. And it was like, we gravitated more towards that than anything else.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for Ricky, for you, same type of things. Can you remember that, or was it more of an Ozzy influence for you, or was it Sabbath, or both, or?
It was. I'm a little younger than Jim, so I wasn't there in the first generation of Black Sabbath. But when I was a young person, it was both. Hearing Ozzy's voice, it did something to me as a kid. Like Jimmy, I was in middle school, I guess. Junior high, middle school as we called it around here, and I first started hearing, Iron Man and Paranoid and War Pigs, obviously the big hits off the Paranoid record. And then you're hearing Crazy Train and Bark at the Moon and all these other songs. And I'm like, this is just really special, special music. And I really just immersed myself into Black Sabbath and Ozzy, along with other metal bands, obviously. But those were my favorites, was Ozzy and Black Sabbath. And I was all buying cassette tapes at that time. It's like everybody would go to Record World or something, and you'd save up $5 or $6 and buy a tape of something. And usually it was me gravitating towards Ozzy and Black Sabbath tapes,
Right.
and just going deeper into the catalog, and then finally getting like Never Say Die, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot different from the stuff I was listening to like 3 months ago. It's
Right.
like, because they were all new to me, but the albums had all been out for a long time, So the title track comes on, I'm like, wow, this is like blistering Sabbath, and then it's like all this keyboard stuff and like jazz chords, and I'm like, wow, this is not the Sabbath I was listening to like 2 months ago when I was, 13 years old.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but that was the greatness about Sabbath. They were not afraid to take chances. They would make music that suited them. They didn't want to get labeled as whatever, the public or the critics wanted to label them. They did the music they wanted to do, and they changed the world.
Yeah, and there wasn't a label. There wasn't a style of that music before they came. Back then they called it like acid rock,
Yeah,
kind of a thing like
sure.
that.
That's right. They didn't have a moniker for it.
Right. They didn't have the name heavy metal, was not there yet. They were still trying to figure out what this sound was. But I'm going to date myself a little bit. I remember getting the 8 tracks from when Ozzy came out with Blizzard and Diary,
Wow.
begging my parents, oh, I need these 8 tracks when Ozzy came out. But
Sure.
hearing Iron Man the first time I heard that, just scared the hell out of me.
Yeah,
Listening to
that's
that
what Jimmy
with my
said too
friends.
when we talked about it once. Do you remember you said that when it first came in with the noise and the drum, and it's
It
crazy.
definitely any different than anything we've heard before.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was just a style. Obviously, it built a style. It built heavy metal. There wouldn't be so many bands that we have now. So many bands we know owe their careers to Ozzy.
Like I heard an interview earlier today with Gene Simmons from Kiss, obviously, and he's like, there was no blueprint for Ozzy. Ozzy was Ozzy out of the gate. He wasn't emulating anybody else. He was himself, and he created Ozzy Osbourne from nothing.
Right.
It wasn't like he may have loved the Beatles and he loved his influences, but the artist that he became was truly unique. It was him. There was nobody else like him, and there never will be again. I mean, he was a unicorn in this world, There's only one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I was talking to one of the hosts of the Diary of the Madman podcast earlier today, and yeah, just so unique that he was. So many people have stated that today, like you're saying, Gene Simmons and so many others. Such a unique individual, created that style, created that music, and we'll probably never see anything like that again.
No, I mean, there aren't rock stars like that anymore. You know,
It's not.
there just aren't. You know that he was bigger than life. He was in an era where we didn't have instant media with the internet and everything is you're bombarded with stuff. I mean, he was. You'd get Hit Parader magazine, or if you're on MTV in the '80s, and you'd see pictures, maybe an interview here and there, maybe you saw some videos. I mean, it was like nothing else came like Ozzy. He was just completely unique among all of his peers. There was just nothing else like Ozzy, man, and there never will be again. I don't
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, you're talking about Hip Parader. I remember Hip Parader, Circus Magazine. When he had
Yeah.
interviews in those, you had to grab those copies and
Oh,
see
Oh
what
yeah.
yeah,
was going on, right? You had to see what
absolutely.
was going
Especially
on
on the
with,
cover. It was
yeah,
going to be a centerfold article with a nice poster in the middle. Of Ozzy doing something crazy.
yeah. And I remember the big feud with him and Black Sabbath when the live albums came out. You
Oh
wanted to see
yeah,
what he
yeah,
was saying and what Sabbath was saying because his Speak of the Devil came out and then Live Evil
yeah.
came out. It was kind of a
Sure.
back and forth thing going on
Yeah.
for a while, and it was like, are these guys ever gonna, curtail that feud or what's going to
Yeah.
happen. So it's just amazing to see, the Back to the Beginning show and just kind of come full circle. And
Well, that's really what it is, right, Rob?
yeah,
It's like it was back to the beginning. Thankfully, Bill Ward up there too, and Ozzy and Geezer and Tony, obviously, and to have the fact that all four of the original members of Sabbath were still alive. God's obviously taken Ozzy now, but at that time to share their gift with the world one last time for millions of people watching on the TV and the pay-per-view, and then of course the millions of videos that are out there on social media of snippets
right.
of the
And
shows,
it's going to be
two
in
or 3 minutes
theaters
here.
coming up next year. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to do a theatrical condensed release of the best of the whole day. I mean, and hearing like Metallica and Guns N' Roses, doing Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, Junior's Eyes, Johnny Blade. I mean,
Yeah. I
these
was
are
liking when
songs
they
that
pulled out
Sabbath fans.
Johnny Blade.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
was cool.
Sabbath fans are like, wow, you really. I mean, a lot of guys were going to do hits, but I mean, to do Junior's Eyes and Johnny Blade, I mean, those are deep cuts, man. I mean,
Yep.
I really appreciated that the Sabbath nut. You guys know I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. That was so cool to see some of those cuts there. Definitely. So, Jimmy, anything real influence for you about Sabbath? Obviously, you started with them really early doing that. Is that kind of what drove you into playing music? Is that kind of what your start was, or?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, we were doing Sabbath, we were doing what else did we? I don't even remember. We were doing some Deep Purple, we were doing a little bit of everything. But I mean, we as kids emulated what we heard. We loved it. And then when you started seeing videos come out, God, when MTV came out, and that was like, oh my God! Now you could see it. Now you could see it. It was really cool to watch. Other than that, you had. I don't even know if they were on anything like an Ed Sullivan show type thing back then. I don't remember, but
We had Don Kirshner's Rock Hour in the
yeah,
'70s.
that's right. That's what I
Yeah.
said. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it was great. It was great to see all the music that we loved listening to, and it was done. Whether it was done live or not, it was kind of live. It was great. It was like I said, to see it on a video and to watch it. You got to see the stars you're listening to every day, and it really did influence you. It's like you wanted to be like them. You wanted to be like that. You wanted to play like
yeah.
that. And from playing it all these years, it kind of grows on you, man. You kind of get imprinted. Those are your influences. You kind of have the same style of play. I was a big influenced by John Bonham and Led Zeppelin too. But the thing is, Ozzy and Sabbath were the first. They were definitely the first for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
I,
and for
yeah.
me, it was after learning more about Ozzy's life, the first band I ever loved was the Beatles. My favorite band. They still
Oh,
are
that
my favorite band.
Me
And
too.
then hearing that Ozzy's favorite band was the Beatles, and they changed his life, like with the Beatles boom on the Ed Sullivan Show in the early '60s, and obviously the Beatles becoming worldwide sensations. How much that affected Ozzy's life. Me as a child, when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, I loved the Beatles just like Ozzy did when he was a kid.
Right.
And then I fell in love with Black Sabbath, and then found out that Ozzy's favorite band was also the Beatles. I was like, the parallels were crazy. And now at this stage of my life, being able to play Ozzy and Black Sabbath's music, it's really strange the way my life kind of turned out when it comes to being a musician. With the way it shook out for me, because you know, if you would have told me when I was 15 that I'd be doing Ozzy's music as an adult, and playing all these wonderful shows and meeting all the great fans and having such great band members, and like guys like Jimmy playing with me to this day, I couldn't have envisioned it, and it is all because of Ozzy and Black Sabbath. I wouldn't be here without them. They reached me to such a point in my young life that after I was through playing my, not doing original music anymore, a couple of years back, I said, I don't want to be in a cover band. I don't want to sing songs I don't necessarily like for money. I want to do something I could be passionate about. And that passion has always been Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. So the decision was kind of made for me. I want to do music that I love, that I won't get tired of, that I want to play every night. And Black Sabbath and Ozzy is that for me. And I mean, like I said, I mean, the man, he put the template down. I can never fill his shoes, but I do my best to carry on the legacy of the music that they created that I love so much.
And we
Yeah.
will. Cool.
Yeah, and you guys definitely put on a world class, tribute to him. It's great. Seen you guys a couple times. It's tremendous. And Ricky, I'm sure you guys are going to be getting a lot more phone calls coming up, a lot more bookings. I talked to another Ozzy tribute band earlier, and their phones ringing like crazy. I'm sure that's going to keep going.
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't look at this as anything good in any way, shape, or form. I'm a happy person. I've been playing shows steady with Jimmy now for many years, doing our Ozzy show all across the East Coast, and now we're branching out a little bit west into places like Ohio and Michigan and stuff like that, which are already booked. There's nothing in my life that is beneficial about Ozzy Osbourne passing. If I end up reaching more people now because of people wanting to experience Ozzy's life, then I will carry that message to them. But there's, I mean, I'm choking up now. It's like there's nothing in my life that is better because he's no longer here.
Yeah,
I
it's
hear
definitely
that.
been a surreal moment for me the last day and a half or so. I was kind of in a fog all day today. It kind of didn't seem real. A couple days ago, the thought had crossed my mind for a moment. I'm like, is he gonna pass soon? I mean, I was kind of like thinking of that, just like it was just a fleeting thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I caught the news and I was like, holy crap. And it was just amazing. I think people are still shaken up about it, and social media and the internet's just crazy with it.
I think
Yeah.
what kept him alive is that he wanted to play this show. He really wanted to give back to his fans because he loved his fans, and he wanted to give back one last time, and that's what kept him going all this time. And the minute that was over, I just think he kind of stopped fighting.
Yeah, he knew he'd accomplished what he wanted to. And you're right. Every time you see him with his fans, he was always so gracious and so kind to all of them. Anytime he could, obviously, it was amazing. I was lucky enough just to see him a couple times front row center
Wow.
in Rochester when Metallica opened for him on the Masters of Puppets tour, and he shook everyone's hand in the front row.
Wow.
Just amazing. You'll never see anything like that from
To
an
be a
artist again.
kid, and you know what it is, man. We all of us who love the music, we all have those special memories of how he touched our lives. He shook your hand when you were 15 or something, or like when I was a kid, I got a chance to talk to him. I called up radio stations a couple of times when he was on the air, and I got through twice when I was a kid, and I got the chance to talk to him on the radio twice. And I'll remember those days. For him, I mean, he's done millions of things in his life and talked to millions of people.
Right.
But for that little kid that called him on the radio, I will always remember that day for the rest of my life. I'm speaking to
100%.
my hero, the guy who I listened to his music every single day for years of my life as a teenager. I got a chance to talk to him, and it's a moment I'll never forget.
Yeah. And just when his solo career was just starting to heat up, so many of those songs obviously connect with so many memories from me growing up and all that different music that was coming out. And then the passing of Randy, that was just crazy as well. But the music just connects, I think, on a deep level.
Yeah, for me, I'm a little bit younger than you guys, so I wasn't into Ozzy when Randy was alive. I came along a little bit later than that, but obviously, looking back, I mean, Randy Rhoads, I mean, the combination of Ozzy and Randy created timeless, incredible music. That, I mean, what more can you say? Everybody who loves metal knows those first two Ozzy records. They set the bar high for everybody that was going to come after that. It's like, okay, we all got big shoes to fill if we're going to compete with this kind of songwriting talent, and the ability to Ozzy's gift for melody, of writing those incredible melodies that he wrote. He didn't write a lot of his own lyrics, but he would always be him scatting some words that over a melody, and then they'd put together the songs, like Bob Daisley or Geezer would write lyrics for the most part, and they would create these amazing songs. But Ozzy's contribution can never, ever be shorted, because he is the front man with the voice, and the melodies of those songs that you sing along with are purely Ozzy's.
Yeah.
He wrote them, and that needs to be stated, and people need to know that if they don't.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I just think we all thought that he couldn't be stopped, because it just seemed like every time he had a roadblock or something to overcome, he overcame it. It's just every time, like, oh, he gets fired from Black Sabbath, but he's back, even bigger, right? He gets this amazing guitar player. The guitar player gets into an accident, loses his life. Oh, Ozzy's gone. Oh, no, he's not. He's got another amazing guitar player that's going to do this. It was just like time and time again, he reinvented himself with the Osbournes TV show and
Sure.
everything else. He just kept coming back. So I think we all kind of thought, like, he's never going anywhere. I kind of think that's why this hit so hard.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously all of our heroes are getting older.
Right.
Most of them were born between 1940 and about 1954. That 14-year period of all those classic guys, the Beatles, the Kinks, the Stones, obviously Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, all those guys. They're all in that age bracket. So this, unfortunately, as Father Time continues to trudge on for all of us, they're either going to be retiring or they're going to be passing away within most of, like, the next 10 to 12 years. I mean, Ringo Starr just turned 85 this year.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, he looks great, and he's still out there doing his all-star band, and it is incredible. I've seen him play live, and it's a lot of fun. I've seen Paul McCartney, seen the Stones, seen the Who. I've seen them all over the years. But we realize, as the next generation that we are, kids that were born in the 70s, late 60s, 70s, 80s, we are that generation to now, in the tribute world, in what we do, what Jimmy and I do, and guys in other great bands, friends of ours that do what we do. We are the next generation of bringing that joy to people, because those bands aren't playing anymore. Led Zeppelin doesn't play anymore. Pink Floyd doesn't play anymore. Ozzy, Black Sabbath, they're not playing anymore. So the closest that people are gonna get, and if I go to see tribute band shows, which I do quite often myself, the closest we're gonna get is those top level tribute bands. I've equated a great tribute band to being like a classical chamber musician. If you go to see, to the New York Philharmonic, and you're listening to Bach or Beethoven, they're playing cover music. They're playing tribute to the original artists. Those guys are dead for hundreds of years, but their music lives on through new hands, through new voices, and they carry on the message that those original artists did back then. So I think if you're an A-level tribute artist, we are paying homage and getting as close as we can to the original recordings that you grew up with on stage live every night. And I do my best to do that every single show, every time I open my mouth, to convey that I care about this more than anybody could know. And I'm up there every night going as close as I can to be true to the songs that you love, that I love, that Jimmy loves. And I hope that, we do those justice for you guys out there, because I know we try real hard to do so.
Yeah, yeah, very well said. Yeah, we definitely appreciate that. And we hope, the next generation, realizes that. And I think we're all kind of wondering what hard rock is going to look like in the future with all these folks passing and what's going to happen. But I hope it's a bright future, even though we've lost an immense icon this week.
Agreed.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you so much for stopping by with us, Jimmy T and Ricky Woods from the world-class Ozzy Osbourne Tribute Ozzmosis. Check these guys out when you can. Guys, again, thank you so
Robert.
much.
Well,
And God bless Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay, joining us now, we have the legendary drummer, Vinny Appice, and he's on his Sabbath Knights tour also, bringing those shows to the East Coast with his singer, Jim Crean, both here to join us. Thank you guys so much for being with us today.
Great to be here. We're excited about coming up to Buffalo, especially Jim. He lives there.
Right. You guys got a lot of shows coming up as Sabbath Knights hits the East Coast. I think you got Showplace Theater coming up Friday. You got Sharky's coming up Saturday. And then you got a draw-off competition coming up in Tonawanda, I believe, also, man.
Yeah, the problem with the drum thing is Carmine was trying to enter. He's trying to be, he wants to win. So we're trying to keep him out.
Well, you guys still got some competition going on there. That's good.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, we're excited about these shows. It's a great area of the country. The crowd's great. And we want everybody to come out and see us, especially after all this Ozzy stuff. This is a way to get closer to the music. We don't play a whole bunch of Ozzy, but, we're playing Black Sabbath and a few Ozzy things in there. So, come out and check it out. And we want to hang out. We'll be there. It's going to kick ass.
Yeah, you guys have definitely had some fantastic shows. I was talking Jim a little bit about some of the festivals you've been headlining and stuff like that. Just outstanding stuff going on. We're so glad to have you back, on the East Coast doing that. And as we're obviously talking about our remembrance here of Ozzy Osbourne, so a two-part episode here. This is part 2. You guys are kind of joining us. So we just want to delve into that a little bit. And you got some history, obviously. We talked about this a little bit in the past. I think originally, and you correct me if I'm wrong, originally you got a call to join Ozzy's band, I think, before Sabbath, right?
Yeah, right. That's correct. In 1980, I got a call and they said, hang on for Sharon Osbourne. I said, oh, okay. What's this about? And she came on the phone and said they're putting a band together with Ozzy, and they heard about me and they'd like to fly me to England and go hang with Ozzy, see how it goes, see if we hook up and we get along, blah, blah, blah. So I went, oh, wow, okay. That was awfully sudden. I almost said, no, I got to fix my sprinklers in my lawn today. I can't go to England.
Well, your brother had done some shows on him, I think, in the Bark of the Moon tour, right? He was playing with him for that, right?
Yeah, but this is in 1980, and so Sharon asked me this. I said, okay, let me call you back. Let me check some things out. So I called Carmine. I said, I got this offer from Sharon to go hang out with Ozzy and possibly put a band together with him. And is he crazy? And Carmine said, oh yeah, he's pretty nuts and pretty wild and all that stuff. And I was like 22 years old, and I'm like, wow, I'd never been to England, didn't even know exactly where it was. I left school, so. And so I called Sharon back and I turned it down. I said, I'm not going to be able to do it, whatever excuse I made, but I just didn't feel that was my move right then, And then about a month later, I get the Sabbath call.
Yeah, Ozzy always had a reputation as being a little bit off the rails, crazy, weird stuff. And I think you had also mentioned once you did get an opportunity to play with him. They called you to play, and Ozzy kind of baptized you at that point, unfortunately, right? By dumping some water on you.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Now I was like, this is after Dio, and this was that 19 what year? 2000, and I think it was
98.
98. And I was sitting home. I got a call from Sharon's office again, and they said, we're doing a tour of Europe, and Bill can't do it. He's having a health problem, and we want you to see if you can do it, you know. So I had to tell Sharon again, look, I was going to fix my sprinklers out in the front yard today. So
you didn't really tell her that.
no, but I was thinking of that when she called. I went, I should tell her I'm actually, because I was going to fix my sprinklers. So so I went, okay. And then a day later, I think it was a day later, I was on a plane going to England. So that's the way it is with the music business. You know, people think it's like all, you know, cool and
Parties and backstage fun, but it's a lot of work and a lot of travel, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, can you come tomorrow? Oh, okay. Okay. So in the interim, the same day they sent me the whole catalog of the Sabbath CDs. You know, about an hour, 2 hours later, there was a knock on my door, in the front door, and they had the delivery guy with all the CDs. And then they gave me a list of songs, and from then on, I had to just listen to those songs because there were songs we didn't play with Ronnie in Sabbath. You know, this is the other catalog. So man, I spent all my time listening to those songs. You know, and then I got there, and yeah, we started rehearsing and stuff. Ozzy didn't rehearse; he didn't sing with us.
That's what kind of I've heard a lot. He doesn't make rehearsals, or didn't make a lot of rehearsals with the bands. Yeah,
He made it to the place. It was a farm in Wales. He made it there. Then he went shopping in the town, and we were going to rehearse, and then we just used Jeff Nichols, who was the keyboard player for Sabbath, who'd made a Tony's. And he sang because he's got a high voice, and he sang the songs with us so we can go over them. And then, so we never played with Ozzy, you know, and of course, right before the show, I'm in my room practicing, warming up, and the door swings open, burst open, and there's Ozzy with all his makeup on. He's going, where do I go? Where? He's all lost. He didn't sit in for the production meeting. Oh, he did some of it, actually. Where the production, you know, with everybody's familiar with what's going to go on, you know, and Ozzy was supposed to go, I think, under the stage, and they'll lift him up in an elevator kind of thing, you know. And he burst into my room. Where do I go? I don't know. I'm the new kid on the block, man.
right,
Shit.
right, exactly.
I'm nervous as you are, you know, because this is the first time we're playing together. The first time that was the first time Black Sabbath played with another drummer.
Right.
So it's pretty intense. It's funny.
Yeah.
But we did it. We did it. Then he baptized me.
Yeah. And I think you told Sharon that would be the last of that.
Yeah, he kept throwing water on me. He'd come by in the front. I see him. He's laughing. And he got a bucket of water.
Did you ever get him back for any of that? Or I know there's a lot of antics that go on the road, you know, guys playing tricks on each other all the time, stuff like that. Obviously,
I liked the gig. I didn't want to get fired.
Gotcha.
If it was Tony, I would do it because I know Tony a lot more than I know Ozzy.
Yeah.
But he did it twice, and then Sharon asked how everything was going. Vinny, how is it going? I said, you know what? It's going great, except he keeps throwing water on me. And Sharon went, he did. And then the water stopped. She's the boss.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, you know. And you've got to sing with another extraordinary singer, with Jim Crean. You've been doing stuff with for years, you know, and now you're doing the Sabbath Knights thing. I think that's tremendous. Jim, yeah. Ozzy and Dio been a huge influence for you for years.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you know, I think they influence everybody, but I mean, the big thing is, like you said earlier, me and Vinny have been working together for 15 years or so, and So me and him have so much chemistry together. It's like I don't know. I feel like he's like I'm the third brother, or fourth brother, right? I guess I'd be the fourth brother, Vin.
Yeah. Yeah, fourth brother. Yeah, Jim could sing, a lot of guys can't sing the Dio stuff. Can sing the Ozzy stuff, but can't sing the Dio stuff. Jim can sing the Dio stuff really great. I mean, he just kicks it. And he's not trying to sound like Ronnie. He's being himself.
Mm-hmm.
And you could hear his personality in it, and it's fantastic. It matches perfectly. And we play together. We signal off each other. We got some cues together, and those came about naturally. So Jim's perfect, man. He fits right in. It's so great to have somebody sing. When I first put this together a couple of years back, I had a couple singers that came down. We had to tune down, and that still didn't work. It was too hard for them to sing. Jim, we're not tuned down, right?
No, we're 440. We're standard.
He's 440, and he's singing this shit from Ronnie. It's incredible. I wish Jim would have met Ronnie in the day, because he would have loved Jim.
Yeah,
he would have loved Jim.
I'm glad you said that, because that I think me and Ronnie would have really connected. I mean, it's
yeah, and you're both from that area, along with Lou Graham and this great singer area. It seems like, so it's a great band. And we got Jimmy Caputo on bass and Artie Dillon on guitar, and those guys played with all of us with Carmine. We did a Drum Wars tour, many gigs with Carmine, and it's a great band. We just kick it. We're not a tribute. Everybody goes, "Was that a tribute band?" As well, it's a tribute plus me. I was in the band, and we play as a live arena band. Let's say, I hate to use that arena stuff, but that all the bands I've been in usually play at that level, and this one definitely plays at that level. We're not just playing the songs; we're kicking the crap out of them.
Yeah, your shows have definitely been tremendous. I've seen all the compliments that Jim have got. There's been people there that haven't seen Jim sing before, and they're like, "Holy hell!" You remember that one show, Jim? That one guy was just like, "Wow, that guy's amazing. What else has he done?" We showed him some of the more of the albums that he'd done. Just amazing. Vinny, you guys thinking about adding any more Ozzy songs then to the show at all? Maybe adding one or two more, maybe, or not really thought about that?
Well, we talked about it, but we don't have much time to rehearse. That's the problem. But we'll see. We're going to try to put maybe one more in there and see what's going on.
Yeah.
But,
another thing that I kind of thought was interesting, you've been talking about this week on some other interview shows, there was always this history between Ozzy and Ronnie, right? Obviously, they're a competition for each other. Let's just call it how it is, right? So, and there was a lot of mudslinging going on back in the day between both of them. You know what I mean? Definitely. But you come out and said that, at this point, that's kind of the air's been cleared on that, and things are definitely better for them at the end, shall we say?
Yeah, because I sat when we were rehearsing in Wales, and Ozzy wasn't rehearsing. We sat on the couch, and he comes sit next to me. Oh, Vinny, he's such a nice guy. I mean, you think he's the Prince of Darkness, but he's the Prince of politeness and humor. So he wears a lot of Prince hats, and not only darkness, but it was just fun to be around and talk. And he used to sit there and we talk a little bit. He goes, "How's Ronnie doing? Is Ronnie doing okay? I really like Ronnie." And, and he was on about that. Wow. How cool is that?
Right, because back in the day, there was a lot of back and forth on that. And, Ronnie had made a lot of statements about, things that Ozzy had said against him, against Sabbath. And, I mean, let's take it. When Ronnie first had to go out, right, he had people giving him the finger on shows because Ozzy wasn't there. How hard can that be, right? You're the new guy on the block and everybody hates you already, right?
Yeah. He had to go through shit. I mean, I was there. I saw the people holding posters. "Where's Ozzy?" They'd make their own thing on a sheet. And "Where's Ozzy? Where's Bill? Where's mainly Ozzy, not Bill so much,
Yeah.
I actually had it easy.
Right. And from what I read, that kind of fueled him to think about what I'm going to do with my hands, what I'm going to do. And that's when he started doing the gesture, right? Because Ozzy used to do the peace symbol all the time. He's like, I need something. I think that's how you started thinking about that. Is that right?
Well, he got that from his grandmother. That's an
Right.
Italian thing, the Maloik. You know,
Right.
you
The Maloik. Yeah.
put evil on people, you deflect the evil, and depending on what's uh, position your hand is in. And so I think he might have put that together with maybe I should do something like that. It has something to do with the band, you know, Evil Black Sabbath. So it worked, you know. So that became everybody's take credit for. I see pictures of these bands now, and the pictures are like, yeah, it's like, no, it's been overdone. You don't deserve to do that. You know, who are you? You know,
Right, right. I remember a couple of years ago, Gene Simmons was trying to take credit for being the
yeah,
first person to do that. I'm like, yeah, you're not going to copyright that one. I don't think there, Mr. Simmons. I don't know.
yeah. I'm not talking about him, but I'm talking about. I see these pictures of bands and people. Is it going? What is with overuse of the Maloik?
Yeah, yeah, little crazy,
No, they
crazy.
don't know it. If you're not serious about that and you do this in the pictures, you never know what's going to happen to you. No, I'm only kidding.
He's tricking you.
Insert exploratory music right here. So let's talk about some other things you guys got going on. Jim, you've had a Scream Taker project that you were working on before. I think you're starting to get ready to put another album together, you guys, with the Scream Taker project. Anything in the works?
I
with
love that album.
Yeah,
I love
right?
that album.
That was a great album. You know, I mean, me and Vinny really with the Sabbath Nights, we're really busy now. We're booking a lot of dates. But we do have some stuff that we worked on for the follow up to Scream Taker. And like Vinny said, I'm proud of that album. That's a great album. So hopefully we'll get to doing that again. That would be pretty cool.
That's an album we did from scratch. Just happened to come together.
Mm-hmm.
And R.D. Dillon, our guitar player who's in Sabbath Nights, he mixed it. And he did a damn good job. It sounds it's really raw.
Mm-hmm.
So these drums and behind me there, you can see part of a drum. I just record here. I send them to Artie. I said, leave the rawness in there. You know, I don't care if it is ringing a little bit. It just sounds like it's a beast. And that's the way that album came out. It's really potent. It's really strong. And we hope to do another one.
Yeah.
We started working on some riffs and stuff, but we didn't get too far on it. So we're going to continue.
Sure.
But it was a great album. I love that album.
Yeah, cool.
I'd love to do another one.
Yeah, we hope to see some more from that. And Vinny, you have other projects that you've been working on too. Last in Line. Are you working on any new music for that? Can you tell us anything that's happening?
Last in Line, we recorded 4 new songs, and Viv's just finishing some guitars on them. And it's going slow because Viv had to take care of his medical problems, you know, and he just started going out with Def Leppard, and man, those guys never stop. So their schedule is full, and it's hard to book Last in Line around that as well. And so we hope to get these songs finished and send them up to the record company. We might release like an EP at a time, you know, 4 or 5 songs, and then the next 4 or 5 songs. I heard that's what some bands are doing, and it works good. Rather than buying the whole record, and you know, you might not like some of the record.
Yeah, that's one of the formulas people are definitely using nowadays. And like you're saying, he's real busy. They just announced the Sphere. I think the Sphere residency may be coming up, or Las Vegas residency for Def Leppard. I think it's September or something. I think they're talking about that.
We're doing a residency too at the Holiday Inn at in Buffalo.
In Buffalo, where you guys got
the
dates
Buffalo
for that?
Airport Hotel. That's the one.
I got a good. I'll tell a funny story while we're doing that. So we were playing some city, I forget where it was, and we did sound check. Me and Vinny, we were traveling all day, as the whole band was, and we had the van drop us back at the hotel. We're all settled into our hotels. Just already, we all decided we're gonna take a nap for about like 2 hours before, you know, we got to go back to the venue, shower, and go play our gig. We're all settled into our hotels. Vin, finish the story.
He doesn't look like he remembers.
No, okay. So we're sleep. We're just about to start sleeping, and then the music starts. Do you remember that?
Oh, that was heavy band playing in the courtyard of this. It's been Friday night.
Oh man.
First, I thought it was Artie and Jimmy playing in their room with their guitar and bass. But what the hell is that? And then I wasn't trying to sleep. I was fine. And think, where's that coming from? Then I looked out my window and I could see part of that courtyard, and they were playing some really heavy music. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. I never heard that at a hotel. I think it was like a Marriott or something outside in the courtyard and stuff. So luckily I wasn't sleeping because I would have got pissed off.
You guys find out who it was, or was it a band, or just some guys making noise, or what?
It was a real band.
No, it was a band. It was a real band. They did a happy hour thing in the courtyard. Like there was some people there and stuff. It was good.
So there was no sleep before that show that night.
No. Well, luckily I wasn't sleeping. Otherwise,
I was.
He was.
You're crashed. You didn't even hear it, Jim?
Oh no, I woke up to a heavy metal guitar, and I'm like, thought the same thing Vinny did.
We thought it was Artie.
Artie and her woman. Like, what are you doing, man?
Are you screwing with you guys? Yeah.
Was he playing in the hotel room that loud? Holy shit. So,
well, like Vinny said, being on the road, it's like everybody sees it as a glamorous, wow. And it is when you're on that stage, but there's a lot to it being on the road. There's a lot of no sleep, a lot of travel. And like Vinny said, at any minute of the day, you could be getting on a plane to go to England. It's crazy. It's rock and roll. I mean,
these days with the airlines, it's a effing joke with these airlines.
Nightmare.
I mean, I don't know what happened to that industry, but it is a mess. Every flight, all our friends, you look on Facebook, hey, we're delayed in Milwaukee. Hey, we're delayed in Chicago.
Yeah.
I got delayed. I had to stay in Chicago on the last trip. Finally get the plane out. We were in Columbus to Chicago, and that was late. And then the plane in Chicago didn't turn up. So we had to spend the night. And this is just becoming a joke now. I don't know what's going on, but it's becoming really hard to get somewhere. Matter of fact, coming to Buffalo, I would normally come the day before the gig. And I did do that. We've done that all the time. But things are going so bad and wacky, and I'm hearing all this stuff, that I changed the flight to come in the day before. So, which is okay because we get to hang out with Jim and Colleen and me and Leslie, who's my girl and merch girl and a beautiful girl. And so is Colleen. So we get to hang out and go get some Italian food. Yeah. So hopefully, watch this one go straight through.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be nice. I know I was reading today,
a bunch of money to change it.
Yeah, I know the airlines are talking today. They're going to start doing AI pricing for airlines. They're talking about that and debating why they not going to allow them to do it. But yeah, it's going to get a little crazier before it gets better. Unfortunately,
I'll tell you what, they should learn how to communicate. We get been on planes and we pull near the gate and we're waiting. What are we waiting for? Oh, we're waiting for them, the ground crew, to bring that tunnel to the plane. Oh, they didn't know we were coming in.
Right? Nobody told them. I know. I saw some of your.
Nobody told you.
Like, sitting there, yeah.
Yeah, and then in Chicago when we were stuck, they go after a couple hours. They go, "Where's the plane?" She goes, "It's in the hangar." I said, "Well, should we go to the hangar?" Effing idiots! I tell you,
we were traveling. One time we were in North Dakota. Going to North Dakota, me, Vinny, Carmine, and Colleen.
That was a long time ago.
That was like 10, 12 years ago. So we're on a small plane, and we were going from Denver to, I want to say Denver to North Dakota or South Dakota, somewhere. And the plane overshot the runway and took us into a cornfield.
Oh, that had to freak you out.
Well, we landed, but he didn't stop in time. He rolled into what started to be a cornfield. And he couldn't turn around. He couldn't do it. So they wind up saying, well, we have to get somebody to pull us around. And it's a little airport. So we just got to wait about 10 minutes. And then we look out the window. We see this guy on a tractor with a hat on.
Just pulling the little plane over, right? Yeah.
Like Farmer John coming up. I go, oh, no, look what's going to pull us. And sure enough, we catch the it was a tractor to the plane,
Yeah.
and he was able to pull us around so we can turn. So it's just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Rock
Well,
and roll, man.
yeah. Let's hope you don't
Good.
have any of those difficulties coming into Buffalo.
That'll be in your
No,
book.
because we want to play the damn set. The last
Yeah.
show we did, we got rained out. We played 3
Yeah.
songs, and then a storm, an intense storm hit. Lightning, everything. We had to stop playing after 3 songs. It's terrible. Then we wanted to continue. It lasted about a half an hour, but the brainiacs on stage pulled our gear down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we go back. Promoter goes, "You want to play?" I said, "Yeah." We go on stage, and the drums are down, and the amps are down. It's like we can't play. So we just went to the merch booth and signed autographs, and
For hours.
actually we did better there.
For hours. I mean, but they were
Hours, yeah.
I felt
nice
bad
to
for
meet
the band
everybody.
after us. The band after us, everybody from the crowd came to the merch table to sign autographs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are always great at doing that. You know, both you guys definitely out there meeting the fans and signing stuff. Vinny, you've done a lot of signings too, and so have you, Jim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's the fans that come there that make this happen. You know, fortunate if they didn't come to the shows, we couldn't play. And I've been fortunate to do this a very long time because of such great fans and diehard fans, and we love meeting the fans. You know, Jim comes out with me and we sign stuff, and then the rest of the band. And I like talking to these people. It's really interesting. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely have a lot of history, but yeah, the fans are always so appreciative when you guys do that. So definitely shows coming up. So Friday, August 1st, you guys are at the Showplace Theater in Buffalo.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great show coming back to that venue. We're excited to see you guys back playing that one. Saturday, I think you guys are at Sharky's in Syracuse playing that. Another very cool venue out there. I got a chance to catch one of your shows out there. I think you might have been playing, was it last year or the year before with Yuli John Roth out there, Jim, or something like that?
Yeah,
Maybe with it.
Yeah, you were at that one, but we played last year with the Rods, and you were at that one.
Oh,
too.
the Rods. That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
that was good.
And then
that's Ronnie's cousin.
Yeah, that's right. And then you got that drum competition coming up also I think in Tonawanda for Tom Reinhardt, right, Jim? Isn't that the next thing?
Yeah, for Ted Reinhardt. Yeah,
Ted Reinhardt. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, he was legend. You know, he was a Spyro Gyra and Gamelan, and you know, he was big legend here in Western New York.
And then August 4th, I'll be at the airport.
Yeah,
and Vinny's out.
Hopefully, I get out of there.
Vinny's out.
August 4th, 5th, and 6th, Vinny will be at the airport.
Yeah, I'll be at the airport.
So meet him there with your stuff. No, I'm just kidding. No, we don't want to sick people on you there. We won't tell them when you're going.
It's nice to see you got the Ozzy thing up there too. You know.
Yeah,
so I did one interview since Eddie Trunk was doing a thing when he got back on the air last week, and he contacted me and said, you know, he'd love me to do the show. So I did the show with him, my little piece, and it was great. And then I got a million other requests, you know, hey, we're doing an Ozzy thing this weekend, and it's like, you know, got to watch some of the stuff, you know, because they're doing it for their own name, or so I refused all of them. I said, you know, Eddie Trunk is one of the top shows you could do. He's a good friend. Ronnie loved him. He loved Ronnie, and he told me he interviewed Ozzy once, and that was it. He doesn't really know Ozzy. And that's why when I told him Ozzy was asking about Ronnie, actually a number of times, not just once, he was like, wow, really? Oh my God. Somebody that he doesn't know. Usually he knows everybody. So
yeah. So, well, like I was saying at the beginning, that was kind of the story back in the day. They're always kind of at odds. Right. And I don't know how much of that was, you know, fuel for the media, but there had been a lot of interviews in the past where Ronnie had responded to stuff Ozzy had said to him, you know, derogatory statements and things like that, you know.
Yeah. You don't want to get on Ronnie's bad side either.
Right. That's what it definitely seems.
He's a hot-headed Italian from upstate New York. I know it. I'm Italian, but I'm from Brooklyn. So
excellent.
Yeah. So.
Well, we so appreciate you taking time and being here. I know you guys are both busy, you know, as we're doing our Remembrance Ozzy Osbourne here. This is part 2 of our remembrance. Thank you so much for sharing some of your memories and some of the history there. Vinny, appreciate your time. Jim, thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Robert.
Obviously, we'll see you at the show coming up, Showplace Theater, Friday, August 1st. And if you can't make that one, you can check out Sharky's the next day in Syracuse with these guys. Great Sabbath night show.